And welcome back to Blue Jays Today, today is the day. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension watch. Hashtag pay that man. Today's the final day of negotiations between the Toronto Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on that long-term extension. We've been talking about it for probably 6 years now. Forever how long Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been a Toronto Blue Jay. We have been talking about this moment right here. If they do not get a deal done today, let me paint this picture. If a deal is not done today by midnight, it is most likely that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be a free agent this following fall and winter, and we're going to have to chase him around all winter. He's going to go on dates with other teams and go negotiate bigger deals with Steve Cohen and et cetera, et cetera. We don't want that to happen. As fans, we want him to sign today, so we're going to be watching him in this Blue Jays Today show and as well later on for our live stream. Let's get into it all and more. I'm your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Playlog. And yeah, good shout out to the live stream later, guys. We are going to be doing kind of a Vladdy extension watch along, if you will, assuming they haven't got one done in the next couple hours or so. So after this Blue Jays Today show, we'll kind of gather our thoughts, get our bearings, maybe secure a couple guests for tonight, and then we're just going to watch everybody, because ultimately, this is going to determine the next decade of Blue Jays baseball. If this guy is here, okay, there's a foundation. We know where we're going. If he isn't here, anything is up for grabs. Literally anything is available at that point. God only knows where this team is going to end up in 6 months or 2 years from now, should Vladimir Guerrero Jr. not get the extension that he is looking for. Welcome into the 265 people who are here right now. This is a big day. It's a big day for Blue Jays fans, because we are seriously at that crossroads, and it's this decision today. It's going to be one of those ones where we look back on in 3-4 years from now, and it's like, shit, that impacted a lot, whether we extend him or not. So with all of that being said, let's get over to the first tweet here from Ben Nicholson Smith, just further kind of, hammering home the point that it is now or it is never for the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. extension. He says today is the last day for the Blue Jays to extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Any extension, when I want to talk about this too, right? Like what it would look like, how much money, all that shit. We're gonna get into the real nitty gritty details here, but any extension would be the biggest contract in Blue Jays franchise history. We're sure of that.
Yeah, 100%.
And one of the biggest in MLB history. If there is no extension by tonight, he will hit free agency after the season at age 26. So it's going to happen, guys. If we don't see an extension done in the next 12 hours, Guerrero is going to free agency. Scary place to be.
Yeah, look, and you mentioned, we'll look back at this day in 3 to 4 years. I think every single one of us, at least for this year, if we don't get an extension done, we're going to be looking back at this day all season long.
It's going to suck.
Every time Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hits a home run, you're going to think about, well, that's more money he's going to have to cost. That's more eyeballs looking at him, like Steve Cohen and other teams like the Boston Red Sox. Every time Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets a hit or comes up clutch, there's more money right there. Every time maybe we lose a game or the team falls further out of a playoff race, that's more of an impression of this is what this organization could be, even with you still here. So everything is going to change. Right now, where we're currently at with the Toronto Blue Jays, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., we know he likes it here. I don't want his mind to get changed, and I don't want other people's hands on the negotiation table of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So all season long, up until effing December, if he does a Juan Soto and signs in December this year, we're going to be looking back on this day today if he doesn't get an extension done.
Seriously,
why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do it?
It's going. The next 10 months of Blue Jays Today content is going to be seriously impacted depending on what happens today. Quick shout out here to Bone $6,699 dono saying, I don't believe today matters. If the Jays offer him what he wants in 2 months, then he signs. Listen, you gotta hear where he's coming from though, and you gotta understand it's a respect thing too. Will the Jays even do that, knowing that Guerrero is not going to negotiate? Because from my understanding, how these things work is, they say we're not negotiating from here on out. We're not,
right.
We're not
negotiating.
This is not happening anymore. So, I guess if the Jays did decide to offer him, $500 in 2 months from now, then it would be on the table and maybe you could think about it. But let me ask you, in 2 months from now, when they do decide, they're like, oh shit, we messed up, let's offer him $500. Well, maybe that's because he's got an OPS over 1. And if he's got an OPS over 1 after the first month of baseball, then maybe he's thinking to himself, okay, shit, I got to go to free agency.
There's no negotiation.
No negotiation anymore.
That's the thing. And Ross Atkins even came out and talked about that deadline. He said, I will respect the deadline. However, it's not closing the door for us. So, like, they could go and offer him all the contracts he wants. They just have to do it, and they can't bullshit around anymore. They have to realize it. And it has to happen, like Nick's saying, before the season starts, because once the season starts, things continue to change, and that's when negotiations are necessary.
Exactly, and you lose all leverage as the Toronto Blue Jays team, right? Because if Guerrero comes out and starts playing good, all leverage is gone.
Right.
That's the only reason why. Like, ultimately, the only reason he signs an extension now and doesn't go to free agency is to mitigate the risk of playing bad, getting injured, various other things. Maybe there's something that, who knows? Maybe it's not even an injury. Maybe something happens with his family, and and his mental's not there, and then he's not playing. There's so many different variables that could happen that cause him to not get a ton of money next offseason. So the second that the season starts, as a team, you have lost all leverage whatsoever, because now he's in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, all right, well, I'm here, I'm doing it now.
Because what if he gets off to a bad start and you go, here's 390. He's going to be like, fuck that.
Exactly.
I'm going to have a great second half like I had last year. It doesn't really make a lot of sense unless you're offering him out of this world money, which if you're going to offer him out of this world money, why don't you do it right now when the price is kind of already set and not all over the place? So thank you for the dono. It's a good thought.
Quick shout out here to Bondi Sports Network saying, Havelock, Timms, let's get Vladdy locked up for life.
Havelock, Timms. Remember with the Havelock for spring, not spring trip.
Oh,
my God.
Shit,
for
dude.
a cottage.
I was wondering where I remember that from. Yeah, seriously, dude. We literally met up with this guy. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, seriously. We need to get him locked up, dude. Now, Guerrero, he is well aware of this timeline, and I think that this kind of just further hammers our point home that it is now or it is never in terms of an extension. And we'll talk about the possibility of re-signing him, because that's a different thing, right? We'll talk about that possibility later today, because that could still happen even if they don't get a deal done here.
Sure.
But I do think that Guerrero is 100%. It's now or never for the extension. He has been posting on his Instagram every single day, counting down to today. Because today is the deadline extension due date. This is when it's supposed to be. This morning, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was in the gym again. So he's working out. He's working hard. And the one thing that was on this Instagram story post was just the emoji of a ticking clock. And when you look up timer on... I did this actually specifically. When you look up timer on your emojis for Apple... This is like one of the top results that comes up. So it's literally counting down the minutes right now until the deadline. And as you can see, he's got some music under this track. And you were the one that did the detective work right here and found out that, well, actually, the specific moment in this song that he chose to put on his Instagram story is literally talking about getting paid.
Look, I post songs on my Instagram story all the time, and I always choose a specific part of the song that relates to me and my situation and whatever, right? Like, I mean, that's music. It makes you feel things, and he's posting it. But he chose this Drake song, Search and Rescue. Obviously, we know Drake, Toronto.
Shout out.
There's a direct connection there. But he posted this part right here. Make this what you will. He said, or Drake said, all I know is hit them all and see what damage I could do. Okay, so, I mean, he goes to work, see what damage I can do. I gave you the world, but there's other planets too. Okay, so he's given the Blue Jays in Toronto everything, but there's still other teams out there. And he goes on to say, I need someone to be patient with me, someone to get money with, not take it from me. And that's when it ends right there. So there you go. He's talking about money. Yeah. He's talking about the other planets out there. He needs someone to make money with.
He's given them everything he's got here. He wants to work with you. You know? No, I mean, like, after looking at it like that, like, this was chosen for a reason.
This was chosen for a reason.
The fact that, and honestly, like, a lot of times Guerrero too, I'm pretty sure I'm not talking on my ass here. A lot of times when he posts like Instagram stories and stuff like that and has music behind them, it's like, Spanish, Dominican music, you know what I mean? Like, they're artists I've never heard of.
Right.
Drake is from Toronto. We all know Drake. That is a symbol of Toronto. He's the guy from here. And those specific lines were chosen for a reason to indicate that it is now or never. We got 12 hours here, guys. The clock is ticking. I want to be here. If you want me here, don't screw me over. Because that's what he's saying. Like, come on, let's work together with this thing.
Bro, let's talk about it. Like, so everyone, and I've seen all the comments, either people are like, there's two type of comments out there. It's either, come on, Ross, come on, let's get it done, do it, let's go get it done. And then there's the other comments of, it ain't happening because Ross and Mark are complete idiots, right? Essentially, to sum it all up of what everybody's saying out there. With that being said, now that we're here, where are you? Are you still 50-50? Are you still feeling like, yes, Ross Atkins and Mark Powers have been kind of shit in the past. They've never done this type of deal before, ever in their entire careers. Not like a lot of other GMs have either. But do you think it's going to happen today?
Man.
And what do you like? Do you think that, because again, it's $450, like, because they'd have to offer $450, I'm assuming right now. Is that happening?
It's so hard because, like, I'm a little nervous. I think I still am pretty close to 50-50 because, like, I really think it makes sense. And I know it makes sense. And I think it's one of those things where if you're a team, very rarely do you end up, getting somebody of the caliber of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and you just extend that guy. That's what you do. You know what I mean? Like in NFL. Imagine if we were in NFL right now, and this was Joe Burrow's like walk year.
Right.
Like that. I think that's a reasonable comparison. You know what I mean? Like, this is Joe Burrow's walk year.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way anyone is letting that guy hit. It would never happen. It would never ever happen.
I paint it like this: like, you can have all the calculations in the world of what he's valued, but I look at it this way. There is nobody like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. out there, and if correct me in the chat, throw out some other names that could compare to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. There's nobody out there that's going to hit free agency in the next couple of years other than Gunnar Henderson in a few years, like maybe 3-4 years. That's the only kind of star caliber, all-star, every single year type of player that will hit free agency that isn't locked up already. Bobby Witt's locked down to a long-term deal, Fernando Tatis, et cetera, et cetera. The only guy is him. So if you do not get him, there will be no other replacements available to you, not in your prospect system, not on free agency.
Yeah, and I mean, like, also, too, like, let's face it, if they're not willing to spend the money on Vlad, like, what? They're,
exactly.
They're gonna go over the top for, Gunnar Henderson when they're still gonna be up against the Dodgers and the Yankees?
Over top,
Yeah, like, I don't see that happening. Like, the next time, should Guerrero leave Toronto, the next time that we get somebody of Guerrero's caliber is through the prospect system. That's what it's going, or like through some crazy major trade when you kind of like how the Padres traded for Juan Soto or something like that. Like, you're not gonna, you won't find a guy like that on free agency, and for that reason, like, that's why it makes sense to me that this gets done. Now, on the flip side of things, we know it's a business. We had Shai Davidi on here talking about it being a business. We had them talking about the financials. I hate the financials. He talked about the financials. They're fair. You got to listen to it. You got to understand it. I hate it. But there is also that factor as well that he is a tough guy to fully, pinpoint and evaluate because his career has been so rocky. And $450 million, which is going to be 3x the amount that George Springer got. So 3 times the amount of money that your highest contract ever is. So we are tripling that. We are fucking going way over the top here. That's a lot of money on a guy. If there's any hesitation or any doubt in him whatsoever, I can understand how they would be they would be hesitant.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like other baseball fans and Blue Jay fans kind of bring it up. Even someone said the very first comment before we went live was like, if Vladdy doesn't come back, I'm not watching baseball. I mean, and yes, I mean, if Vladdy doesn't come back and he signs with another team, I mean, we do this for a living. I can understand how even if you are a pretty big Blue Jay fan, if Vladdy walks and the team looks like ass, really, what am I watching?
Exactly.
What am I seriously watching?
I do see a couple people in here saying that Joe Burrow is better than Vladdy. Bad comparison.
Okay.
Fine. Okay, fine. Maybe he is really, really good. I get it. He's really, really good. But the point being, a young franchise player that you're building your team, that is still very, very good, that you're building your team around. You don't see, like in the NFL or anywhere else, like it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. Even the Edmonton Oilers, who were very bad for a long period of time, even they locked down, their guys. You have to. You just have to do it.
Also, on that note, Bondi Sports, shout out for the $2 dono saying, be like if it was Bo Nix walk here. I mean, we'll see.
I think he's a little bit better than Bo Nix.
Bo Nix had a great year, don't get me wrong, but let's say if Bo Nix continued that, I mean,
be like, all right, we can talk,
Yeah, and then also, when I asked everybody, like, who would be another guy, people said Adley Rutschman, and you actually brought that up to me earlier. However, Adley Rutschman is 28 right now, so he would be a little bit older, so it's a little bit different. He wouldn't get nearly the same amount of contract, but, that point being, no one's like
again. The thing is like you don't let a guy like this walk. This is one of those things that we will look back on. I don't want to be looking back on this. I don't want to look back on this like 20 years from now. When I'm 20 years older and be like, damn. Blue Jays, let Guerrero go.
No, seriously, I want, and I've thought about this countless times. I want to be, we're both 26 right now, turning 27 this year. I want to be around Vladdy's age, 40, 41, 42, with my little kids, and I'm watching Vladdy's last game live at the Rogers Center, and I'm crying, and they're like, Dad, who's this? And I'm like, that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, like those memes where it's like, Dad, tell me about like OG Fortnite,
and it's Vince McMahon, like exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen if he doesn't sign an extension with the Blue Jays. That does not happen,
especially if he goes on to do great things with the team that inevitably would get him. Then honestly, like he will forever be known as that guy over there, not the guy over here. We don't want that, right? Like this is going to be, I want Vladimir Guerrero Jr., to your point as well. I want him to be one of those sports players that, like defines almost my life as a sports fan, right? And he has the potential to be that. Like if he is here for another 10, 12, 15 years, I don't even care at this point, but he's got to be here. Shout out to the 521 people that are in here right now. If you haven't already done so, guys, please hit that like button. I saw TJ Smith subscribed. If you subscribe, your name will pop up right there. Where are you at? Because you asked me, I'm pretty much as 50. I would say I'm actually probably more in the camp that he's not going to get extended now because we haven't heard anything about it.
Right.
Like we really haven't. There's been no Ben Nicholson, but there's been no Hector Gomez has been quiet for a while.
Why is Hector quiet of all the times? Maybe they're really putting a cap on him right now.
However, did you see the stuff that Jimmy Garcia's brother tweeted out yesterday?
Yeah. Okay. So
do we put any weight on that?
I'm not gonna. I mean, listen, would you put any weight if Chris Bassett's wife said anything about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? I'm just kind of thinking of another family member comparison. Like, I don't know. It's kind of in the same boat. It's like, what does he know? Does Jimmy know really? And then would he tell his brother? And then his brother goes and blah. I think, if anything, I chalk it up like this. I think more likely he's just a big Vladdy fan.
Right.
And then he just loves Vladdy and his brother plays for the team. So obviously you're going to support him and he's just going to tweet about him.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything in particular. He just tweeted like money bags and fire and all that.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just like, kind of like what we're doing. We're big Vladdy fans, and we're just
I honestly think the same thing too, right? And Sophie's in here asking. Shout out to Sophie, by the way. She said first show in a long time, so she's coming back now that the season is on the horizon. Thank you for joining us. But so effectively, Jimmy Garcia's brother was on Twitter. He took it down since then. I think
it's gone now. Yeah.
Yeah, he took it down since then because there was a lot of probably unwanted hype surrounding it. But he tweeted a photo, really cool photo of Vladdy with the CN Tower in the background. Guerrero's in the Rogers Center.
It's that iconic photo of him in the City Connect. Yeah.
And it was like with a bunch of money bag emojis, couple hashtags in there. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, what do you know? What do you know?" I think it's kind of more of like, what Adam said. He should be here. Guerrero should be here.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's probably met or spoken to Guerrero. He's probably maybe a friend of his. He wants this guy to get paid. I think that's what it is.
And I think like anybody, I mean, hell, even Jose Barrios came out. If you want to chalk that up to anything, chalk up the thing that Jose Barrios said on the first day of spring training, where he said, Vladdy wants to be here for a long time. Vladdy wants to be here for a long time, and I hope he gets it done. Boom, that means more to me.
So with all that being said,
right.
We haven't heard anything from some big-time insiders. Hector Gomez has kind of gone quiet right now. Ben Nicholson, Spinachai, they've been like mum's the word on all of this stuff right now.
As they should be,
Yeah, but that does worry me a little bit that we got 12 hours here, and we're not hearing anything.
I hear you, and I think the part of me that's always anxious about these kind of things with time running out definitely feels that, and that's where I'd want to shift into more of a negative, like this ain't gonna happen. However, I think I do accept the fact that if it was going to happen, it's going to happen today, and it could happen at any moment. And like I knew that 5 days ago. Like if it was going to happen, it was going to happen today. Obviously, if it wasn't going to happen, it wasn't going to happen. So I'm still thinking, I'm still logically putting myself 50-50. I'm right in the middle, and it literally it could happen in the next 30 minutes. It could happen at 11 o'clock at night. I don't know. I don't know. They're
Okay.
going to use all the time possible, right?
So it really is up in the air at this point. Shout out and thank you to
Jason McNally. Let's go. Welcome to the community, Jason.
W's in the chat, everybody. As we said, we're going to be doing another live stream tonight as we're getting closer to that, extension deadline. Just following along with this, hoping that we hear something. I'm really hoping that, whether it be a Hector Gomez or, Bob Knight, somebody comes out and be like, talks are progressing.
Right.
Because that would make me feel really good. And, I think that's just, the one missing piece for me is, we haven't seen any of that. It's we're just seeing Guerrero post a fucking timer on his story.
And hidden messages.
Yeah, and that is a little bit concerning. Now, I also saw somebody in the chat ask this question, which I think it's important to give some light to. I'm sorry, I think it was, Mario right here says, well, what if Vlad has a bad year? And that's a good question too, right? Because let's face it,
we haven't even talked about that if he gets extended.
Yeah. Well, or if not, right?
Or not.
There's two avenues here, and this is why this is such a confusing thing. Can you pull up Guerrero's numbers for us? Take your time. But just when you look at Guerrero's seasons, there have been 2 years out of the 6 that he's played in MLB. 6, right? Yeah. Six seasons that he's played in MLB. 2 of them have been absolutely phenomenal, worthy of $400+ million, no questions asked. I love it. 4 of them haven't. And, if you extend Guerrero, and let's say he puts up his 2023 numbers again, getting paid $40 million a year or whatever it is, you're like, oh, that's not a great start to the contract.
Yeah, obviously, I think we all have to accept the fact that's a possibility. If it happens, don't be shocked and don't be like, well, we overpaid for him, because what you're paying for is the potential of having an explosion year like 2021 and 2024. I think what you're paying for is, okay, any given year you'll still be an above average player and you'll still be a good, solid. You'll play almost every single game as possible. Look at those games: 159, 156, 160, 161. You're going to play every single game.
He's never had a problem with injuries.
Never been a problem. You're going to be healthy. You're going to play every game. You're going to be above average effort. And then in any given year, you're going to explode and have a chance to win MVP. That is what you're paying for. If you're paying for consistency, I'll tell you this: you don't pay Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Maybe they're factoring that in Rogers communication, but you're paying for an explosion year, and you have to accept that. And if you accept that, then you'll say, okay, well, he had a regression year. Let's be real. Is he going to regress from last year? I'd probably say more times than not. His career average is 863 OPS. He had 940, so more times than not he will. But you got to be okay with that, knowing that maybe next year we'll go get it.
I also hope too that as he gets older, as the age starts to get up there, right? He should theoretically not be in his prime yet. You could argue that this coming year would be the first year of prime.
26 years old.
26.
Oh, yeah.
You've had some time here. You're still totally fresh. You're young still. You're feeling spry. You're going out. You're going after it. That's the first year of prime time. And I think I actually looked this up one time. When is a baseball player's prime? And it was from 26 to 29.
Yeah.
And those are the best years, right? And that's kind of what you're hoping if you're the Blue Jays, that you are paying for that prime and that you are going to get several, back-to-back all-star seasons in a row, several Silver Sluggers, all that shit. I do think it would be a relatively big disappointment to see him regress to 2023 numbers, especially if you hit him with an extension. But then I also wonder, what if he plays bad and they don't extend him? What do you do then?
Well, yeah, that's the other side of things, and that's what we both have been talking about. Where that's why Vladdy should sign now, to protect himself, because he knows he's had bad years. Maybe he's betting himself, maybe he looks at it differently, but he knows he's had bad years. If he regresses a little bit this year, then what the hell does his contract look like? If he puts up literally 2023 right here, a 264 batting average, 26 bombs, 78 OPS, still a great player, but not phenomenal.
Oh, I don't know what you pay him at that point.
I think, yeah, exactly. 300? You lose a lot of money there. I always think about what's the upside of what Vladdy could get if he has a phenomenal year again versus the downside of what if he has a bad year. I mean, he probably still gets paid $350.
I don't know. I don't think so, man. Again, I don't know. I don't think that he would.
Maybe an option. Maybe it totally changes.
No, I think it changes the entire. Yeah, I think it changes the entire makeup of the deal. If he was to, let's just say we don't extend him, and then he does what he did in 2023. Still a good player, but definitely not a world. I mean, at the end of the day, he had 2 WAR, right? And that's something that's
not
gonna
that good.
That's not good.
I mean,
right?
it's fine for a guy filling up your lineup, but
certainly not. I don't think that's $300 million. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they would still. I think he would still get paid $200 million if he wanted it, because people would be betting on the upside and stuff.
Right, of course.
But he's certainly that is a major dip compared to the 400 he could sign right now.
That's what I'm trying to say is this is the best year to treat as a free agent year, like a walk year. Like last year I'm talking about, where you just put up the second highest batting average. You had, your MVP 6, you won a Silver Slugger, you went to the All-Star game, you had the second best OPS in your entire career. That if you did that again, you're getting paid what you're getting paid right now, maybe a little bit more, but that's a great year to walk on and get paid. So that's why I believe Vladdy's going to be more inclined to sign extension.
Okay, Ken Rosenthal, you need to read the goddamn room right now. All right, Ken Rosenthal just reposted something from the Royals, but the first sentence is, "We have agreed on a contract extension."
Oh no!
And I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god,
dude!" It's the Royals
it's
GM.
The Royals. Read the goddamn room, Ken. Read the goddamn room. All right, I don't care about that right now. I want a contract extension, but I could not care. I mean, good for you, guy.
Hey, you extended your franchise player and you went to the playoffs last year. That's a good job from a GM.
Right. Shout out to Mario right there for subscribing. W's in the chat. If you guys haven't already done so, please hit that like button, smash the subscribe button. To go back to what we were saying right there, kind of looking at all the numbers, the outcomes, the variables, all this shit. This is why I've always thought that ultimately extending is a better option for Vladdy, because I think that the risk versus the reward, the reward, in my opinion, you would need to have the same year as last year, or a 2021 year again, to get what? 50
more million.
60 million more?
Yeah. Whereas,
okay, that's good. That's great. But you could stand to lose. Well, if you got seriously injured, you could stand to lose all of it. You know what I mean? You could actually stand to lose all of it if you got seriously injured. But even if you played bad, you could lose $200 million that you had on the table.
Guaranteed.
So for me, just the risk versus the reward, it doesn't add up. If I was Guerrero, I would take the contract. He obviously is going to feel very differently than me, because he's hearing stuff from his agent and everything like that. $400 million on the table for Nick Paleolog. I am smashing the accept.
Of course, and also too, I brought this up. This is a little nugget, a little food for thought. I brought this up before. His agent isn't Scott Boras, and also MLB Network effed up. I saw this on Friday. They said Vladdy's agent is Scott Boras Corporation. I'm like, that is completely wrong.
Do your research, guys. Come on.
He doesn't have Scott Boras agent. It's an agency. Honestly, I'm ignorant, and I have never heard of this agency. So if this agency is smaller, again, I'm ignorant, I have no idea. But if it is smaller, obviously, than a Scott Boras, then you might go, well, this is my big payday too. I don't want to risk this as well. And maybe they advise Guerrero, okay, even if you're a little bit off, let's work in this opt-out or these bonuses or whatever, or these incentives if you play well, so you can get that money that way. I would say again, to your point, let's get a deal done, because it makes sense for him right now to avoid the risk.
Yes, exactly. Right? I just think that there's more to lose than the amount that you could gain right now. And ultimately, if I'm Guerrero, that's where I would go. We just got somebody in the chat saying Carlos Baerga, so I'm just checking his Twitter very quickly. Baerga is... here we go. Here we fucking go. How do we...
Just take Carlos with a grain of salt, man. I mean, multiple times we've seen this guy say something and it literally never happens. So let's see this.
I'll be honest. This is actually pretty reasonable from my guy Carlos Baerga right here. He says the date. So I translated the post. You guys can see it right now. Well, the day has come. Tomorrow, Tuesday. Keep in mind the wording's a little off here because they translated it, but effectively. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the Toronto Blue Jays will have had to sign superstar Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and if he doesn't sign tomorrow, he will go to free agency in teams like the Mets, Boston, Angels, Yankees. I think all that's true. I think all of that you could probably throw in a couple other teams in there too, but definitely those four. They will be in the mix, and it would be a very big mistake, because since they offered Ohtani and Soto $600 million, they haven't signed the team's horse. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Now, the one thing I do want to correct here with Carlos Baerga is, my understanding is that it's got to get done today.
Yeah, I can also see a reality. I just thought about this. What if they get a deal done, but they don't announce it till tomorrow or something until he shows up? Maybe. I could also see that happening.
I'm sure that I
hate that, because I'd be so happen?
Can you imagine, like, Guerrero's just sitting at the table right now? He gets his $450 million deal, and then, like, the clock hits, 12:01. He's like, oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm sure that if they are, like, really close to the finish line, the talks will extend a little bit. Like, but they got to get close. They got to get within, spitting distance here and make it extremely enticing for him to even, consider negotiating tomorrow. But to Carlos Baerga's point, if Guerrero does hit free agency, then you are going to be up against Steve Cohen and you are going to be up against Boston. I think those two right there. Like, I personally,
that's scary.
That's really scary to me. Like, I've been breaking down the Boston Red Sox a little bit. I made a video about them very recently on another channel. I know we've been talking about them quite a bit. They are like fucking scary good, dude. They're actually
they're very good.
I'm shocked at how MLB's kind of sleeping on them, but they are like really, really good. And they add Guerrero to that thing. I mean, that's a wagon.
Not only are we tanking for the next 5 to 10 years, but we are going to be getting spanked.
Dude, Guerrero is like quite literally going to kick our ass for the next decade.
Yeah,
and I do not want to see that. Right?
We already got freaking Rafael Devers doing
that time and time again, and obviously the New York Mets, right, with Steve Cohen, you know that those guys are going to be in the mix, and you know that Juan Soto is going to put in a good word to Vlad, put in a good word to, he's probably going to be talking to Steve Cohen and be like, hey, you get this guy, like, we go, and I mean, you're right. You are fucking right. So I don't want to be up against Boston and Yankees and Mets and Dodgers. God, the Dodgers could be in maybe, who knows?
Because Vladdy I brought this up earlier. Vladdy plays some third base this year, which actually now that we don't have Pete Alonso, so he won't play that much. But even if he did, go put him at third base.
That opens the door for so many other teams too.
Oh yeah,
that opens the door for everyone's calling right now. Yeah. So look, it's just not a situation that you want to be in. And can you imagine? Let's say that Toronto has a bad year. And we don't extend Vladdy. Let's say we miss out on wild card. We win like 81 games. We're 500 ball team. That's well within the range of possibilities.
Oh, for sure.
We miss wild card. Vladdy's not extended. Boston makes it to the wild card. They make it. They win the wild card. They make it the division series. Mets are up against the. I mean, there's just no argument anymore. There's no argument anymore. Quick shout out to Daniela Castor saying, do you guys have a champagne bottle ready just in case it happens? There is actually a bottle in the fridge right now, and in case something happens.
For the live stream, we'll put a Vladdy label on top. Boom, pop that thing right in the center, and we'll have that for the watch along later tonight.
Yeah. Rye Guy saying, when will you guys open the mailbag? Pretty soon, dude. Obviously, there's been lots of conversations surrounding Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and I want to make it very clear to the 630 people that are in here right now, we are going to be live later on today, maybe late afternoon, 4 or 5, something like that. Kind of following this thing for a couple hours. We're hoping to get maybe a couple different guests on here that we could chat with, pick their brains about this whole situation. Because like we keep saying, it is now or never.
Absolutely. Lesto Gaming here with a $10 dono saying, good afternoon, guys. To my understanding, Vlad is getting $550 million for 12 years. Wow, that would be incredible, Lesto Gaming. There is a Go conference tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's a done deal. Go Jays Go. What is a Go conference?
Yeah, Last Duel Gaming. You are gonna need to provide.
This is a big claim.
Yes.
Here, Last Duel Gaming.
Listen, man, shout out and thank you for the donation, dude. That's fucking awesome. Where do you get this information? And can you please message us privately about it?
Yeah, Dylan's saying, are you credible? What is a Go conference? Let's hear it.
Go train conference?
Yeah, that's where my brain goes.
Yeah.
Like,
what's he doing there?
I've been given stakes in or stocks in Go Train. I own 1% of the company.
Every Go Train you take, like 1% of the proceeds goes to Guerrero.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good.
This guy would double his contract. That could be crazy. But thank you, Last Duel Gaming, for that. And yes, we'll get to the mailbag, guys, a little bit later. We do have also some things that aren't Vladimir Guerrero Jr. related.
Yes.
There was a signing last night that happened. Amir Garrett signed with the Blue Jays. We've been talking about getting a lefty on this team. There weren't too many big quality lefties available out there. There were guys like Amir Garrett that were available, and it looks like the Blue Jays went and they did that. So Amir Garrett, Toronto Blue Jay. Now, they signed him to a major league deal, but he right now isn't being projected on the roster, and that's probably because, I don't know if it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's probably because, well, his numbers just haven't been that good, as of late. And I mean, he got hurt last year, only 6 games, 5.06 ERA, 1.688 whip. he's not like a, great player by any means, but he can have some great moments. Remember that one moment where he charged the entire dugout and started swinging his fists around?
Listen,
the Cincinnati Reds?
He's got aura, and that's a lot of what people are saying. Like, he brings an energy, he brings aura, and I agree with you. I also think that ultimately, like, anyone right now that throws from their left hand should be, auditioning for a spot right here in Toronto. We just have Little. That's it. We just have Brandon Little. That is all we have right now for when it comes to lefty bullpen options. So, I mean, Amir Garrett, am I going to project that this guy is going to come in here and save the day? No, I'm not. But this is another one of those options that we're going to see in spring training. I kind of look at it as in like it's kind of like an Eduardo Escobar signing from last year, right? Where it's like we're just trying out bats right now. Daniel Vogelbach comes in. We're trying that out. Do you have anything in the tank? That's what Amir Garrett is right now.
Sorry, guys. Every time I type 2025, that thing comes up.
That is what Amir Garrett is right now for the bullpen. I wouldn't be shocked if this is the last move. I'm anticipating that there's going to be more moves that they are going to be making. Just adding in options in the lefties. He's not going to save the day. It's something to watch in spring training.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking up Go Conference right there, and I couldn't find anything. So, but last game said it's a news conference. So I don't know where or how baseball related it is or whatever, but that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, with the Amir Garrett thing, it is what it is. I mean, you kind of nailed it. It's a guy. Go audition for a spot, and let's see what you can do.
Yeah, and ultimately, we are going to need more guys to audition, right? Like, Brendan Little cannot hold down that fort. We've talked about this time and time again in the last couple weeks. Like, yes, the Guerrero thing, that is utmost of importance right now. After you deal with that or don't deal with that, whatever happens, like, just for 2025, we need some goddamn lefties. Yeah, like, if we're not going to rock with a starter, like, you got to have some bullpen options to, like, change up the look here, right? Threaten that at least. We don't have it. We got one. Yeah. We need more.
Let's hope, and you got to hope for a breakout or two. Like, if Amir Garrett just all of a sudden is like, oh, I'm elite now. I have a sub 3 ERA and a whip of 1. Like, okay, awesome. Like, yes. Then that's great. We need one of those guys to do something.
Also, quick shout out here to Sophie saying, are you guys going live for spring training? Yes, Adam actually is going to be doing a couple. I will when I come back. Quick notification. I got update here for everybody OGs out there. I'm going to be gone for the next week. So that's going to be one of the last times that you see my face around here. I'm taking a vacation. I'm heading off to Europe. Everybody going to Portugal. It's going to be fucking awesome. But you're just going to be dealing with Adam for a while. He is going to go live for a couple spring training games, I think, during that period of time. And
I'll do the one on Saturday, and then after that we'll see, because you guys, everyone loves the first game, and then after that we'll see what happens after that.
But we will definitely make a point of when Max Scherzer pitches.
Oh, for sure.
And,
some big notable games.
For when we're starting to see some of the starters come back, we'll do it. So maybe not a full locked in schedule right now, but we're definitely going to do it a couple times for sure. And who knows? Fingers crossed. We are still waiting to find out if we can even go to spring training.
Gosh,
we are really hoping that we can. If and when we find out that information, and should we actually be going, we will certainly be notifying you guys when we're going to be there. We'd probably be down there for a week or so. So if any of you guys happen to find yourselves at Toronto Blue Jays spring training, reach out, let us know, and who knows, maybe we can link up or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, someone said Scott Belford, get him on to co-host. Actually, I was bugging him a little bit about that, so he might be coming on for an episode or so. And also Jim as well. I might bug him a little bit, and maybe they'll be on later. You never know for the whole Vladdy watch. Let's give a quick shout out, everybody, while we have you, to the sponsor of today's Blue Jays Today show.
Whoa, time for a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video. Hit your picks and knock it out of the park with Betway. Scan the QR code down below to join the action. Only available in Ontario. Must be 19 years of older to participate. Please play responsibly. Now, everyone, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway, everybody, for being absolutely phenomenal. It is the place to go if you have any interest at all in sports betting. Four Nation tournament.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I mean, if you guys watched the one on Saturday, wow, that was quite the game. But the Blue Jays, they actually need to come back. And there you go. McCarr is out there for warm-ups. So that's a big shout out.
I think you mean the Canada team.
Oh, sorry. Did I say Blue Jays?
Yeah.
I've been talking about Blue Jays. It's hard to switch my brain to hockey.
We would probably get smoked if the Blue Jays put on some skates.
Out there, we're getting destroyed. But we, as a nation, Canada, need to win today in regulation to go to the finals against the U.S. for some payback, because that was a tough one. So they're facing Finland, and holy crap, are they ever favorited? Like, it's almost way too favorited for the Canadians, where I'm almost thinking, well, Finland won a game.
Yeah.
You know, like, why can't they beat Canada? It's only 3-game regular, what's it called? Round robin.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like, they're favoriting right now 125 for Canada and 4 times your money if you bet on Finland to win money line. That's kind of wild.
Yeah, that is quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like from an odds play, like you never know, man. Like anything can happen. I might even say sprinkle a couple bucks on Finland. That being said, though, I mean, pretty sure Canada's gonna smoke them.
Yeah, I would think so. Like even I put 1.2 as 1.5, but like 1.5. So you're just asking Finland to win by 2 goals, which is a decent amount. But if you're asking them to win in regulation by 2 goals, that's 8 times your money.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that happens more times than not, honestly. Again, in this tournament where anything could happen. And also, the goaltending sucks. Bennington's back in tonight. What's going on with that? Why aren't they putting in Adam Hill? No idea. But regardless, I think it's a good shout. So go download the Betway app, guys, in the link down below if you want to bet on Canada and Finland.
Yeah, everybody. All right, let's take a couple questions from the mailbag right now. I'm sure that there's going to be some stuff in here about Guerrero that we can chat about. And like we said, we're going to be live later today with a couple different guests talking more about this and kind of watching along as it happens. So mark that in your agendas. First question in here coming from Hen here saying, if an 8-year deal was offered to Varsho, interesting.
Yeah.
What average annual value would you be comfortable with?
Goodness.
Not a lot.
How old's Varsho again?
He's not I
think he's
old,
upper 20s.
but yeah, like I want to say like 29,
Yeah,
28, 29.
Because I'm just thinking, like, if an 8-year deal, let's say it's at the end of his contract.
He's not getting an 8-year deal.
No,
though.
he's not. He's never going to get an 8-year deal. That'd be insane, actually. He's 28, so he would be. He's turning 29 this year, actually, so he'd be 30 by the time he hits free agency.
No.
First of all, not getting an 8-year deal. If it was an 8-year deal, the AAV would have to be something like 10 million. Like, you'd have to spread that shit out, and he would never sign that either. So let's reword
Honestly,
this.
he might sign that, dude.
He might, yeah.
For
Maybe.
like $80 million would be a lot for. I don't think he's getting that much more.
Honestly,
than that,
that'd be crazy value.
Yeah.
Though, actually, for the Blue Jays.
That'd be probably pretty good value, because even it honestly would have to be a deal like that, because for them, like you'd be projecting that at some point he is almost unstartable in the lineup, and you're just playing for defense. Like that's it. Like you would have a complete dead hole in the lineup.
And then actually, I just realized there would be the issue of him playing center field. Like after 30, like how much center field is he going to play? Like fuck, even Mike Trout, one of the better center fielders when he was in his prime, he's moving to right field now. Everyone moves to right field when they get older. It just hurts your body too. That's why he's getting injured so much. Honestly, yeah. So you'd be paying for, at the end of his contract, a $10 million pretty good right fielder, maybe DHing too.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is a tough one to answer, because I just don't see any reality where Varsho gets an 8-year deal. I think Varsho might get like a 2 or 3-year deal, and depending obviously too on how it is that he's swinging the bat and how the defense is going, injuries and stuff. If he is still playing incredible defense and he's doing okay offensively speaking, then like a 3-year deal for, I don't know, 15 a year or something like that, maybe.
It could be.
Bro, time for a quick shout out.
I knew that was coming. So that's a good question. Yeah, 8-year deal, probably not going to happen, but good question. I mean, it's a food for thought. If it was an 8-year,
also Deport Schneider here with an interesting piece of knowledge right here. I'm not sure if that, I would assume this is true. On this day 14 years ago, Joey Bats signed a 5-year, $65 million contract extension with the Blue Jays. The history is there today. We just have to hope we extend Vladdy. That's interesting, man. Maybe February 17th is extension day.
Exactly.
Exactly. We wait it out. It comes down to the wire, but we eventually get it done.
History repeats itself. You know, that's the guy who's on the level of excellence. If Vladdy signs here and does what we expect all Vladdy to do, that's a level of excellence.
Yeah,
player.
dude. Like Vladdy's got like medium elite potential to get his jersey number retired from the Jays or something.
Yeah,
should of course he sign here long term.
Let's say he signs. Yeah, let's say he plays for literally his entire career here, and he plays till 40, retired. Like that's an easy retirement jersey.
Yeah, especially if there is some postseason success, or like maybe an MVP in there. Like, definitely,
absolutely, right. Speaking of Vladimir Guerrero Jr., also guys, if you want to submit your questions in for our mailbag, the link is in the description down below. So click on that Google form, submit your question through there. That's how we're getting all the questions. This one just came in from Rye Guy 17, asking how many years and how much money would you give Vlad? We're talking about it. So we kind of talked about like, should he extend now or whatnot? But we actually haven't talked about like the details of the contract. And would you add an opt-out? I'll throw it to you. what would you give Vlad?
Perfect deal for me. And this is, again, like, I'll try to be as realistic as possible, because, I mean, perfect deal for me is 10 years at $10 million a year, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, that'd be real nice. But realistically, so Vlad's going to be 26 now.
He'll be 27 starting his contract.
So I'll say, ultimately, like, they're going to need to give him 12 years, probably, to make it worthwhile for him. So if we're doing 12 years, that takes him till he's 38. That is a bit old, but, you know you're going to deal with that at some point. 12 years. What's 12 years times 40?
12 years times 40, that is 480.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
It is quite a bit. Okay, we'll say that he gets paid $38 million a year, 12 years. Maybe you try to front load it a little bit too. If you can include some deferred money, I'm even happier. And potentially for Guerrero's sake, maybe there is an opt-out after, 3 years or 4 years or something. I would love it if there was an opt-out for a team standpoint, that'd be incredible, but he'd never take that. He would never take a mutual option either. So ultimately, like, if you're going to include opt-outs, it'd need to be for Guerrero. And if they're going to pay that much money, it'd probably be in like 4 or 5 years opt-out.
Here's what I have too. I like that idea. I'm kind of building off that. I'll go with that 480 12 years, because what I'm going to do, because AAV of 40 million, what I'll do is I would include opt-outs to make it fair, because I think for Vladdy, you need to incentivize him to sign this deal and front load the crap out of it and give him an opt-out. Like, let's say you front loaded it and you give him like 45 for the first 5 years, right? You really front load the crap out of it. And then when he's 32 is when he would kind of finish up the first 5 years. That's when you have the opt-out option. If he does opt out, he could go to the free agency, try to renegotiate. But at 32, you never know what you could be looking at 32. From the Blue Jays standpoint, you might be getting a nice deal. And then the back half is whatever that AAV is for the back half of his career to kind of help you build a new team around him in this like kind of third, I guess, stint with the Jays. And yeah, and if he does opt out, if he's playing incredible, then maybe you include something where, okay, well, the Blue Jays now have to match, maybe another 45 million per year for the rest of it, or whatever it might be. I would kind of structure it that way. I see that's what happens with Juan Soto,
right?
And I kind of want to see that happen with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because it not only makes sense for the the player, because if I suck, then I'm still guaranteed some money, a little bit less, but I'm still guaranteed. But if I'm great, then I made my money and I can make more money later on. In the team standpoint, I could feel better if you are sucking, paying a little bit less later down the line. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think that would absolutely get the deal done, 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. I just see some people asking, to go look at Tyson right here, Tyson_MLB.
Hey,
it's actually, he's a writer over at the Jays Nation, which we are obviously affiliated with. Everybody. Now, 33 minutes ago, he said there should be zero reason Guerrero Jr. is not with the Blue Jays for the foreseeable future. Nada. For a GM on the hot seat entering this winter, barring absolute stupidity from Guerrero's camp, this is an easy done deal for Toronto. I get it. I understand what he's saying, and that's kind of where we keep coming back to as well. It's just like, how on earth would you justify letting Vladdy walk? And how do you do that? How do you let Vladdy walk? It's just, it can't.
And again, like, I like when he brings up the GM hot seat. Like, this is it. Like, if you do not get him extended, whether it be right now or later on, whatever, you're cut.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to keep you around because this was your player that you were supposed to keep here for a long time and build the team around, and now he's gone.
Yeah.
So you're gone too, right?
Quick shout out here to 2 big-time donations. One coming in from Lindsay B saying Happy Family Day. Yeah, actually, Happy Family Day to everybody.
Family Day.
I mean, it feels like it's just Vladdy Extension Day, but because we're hard at work. But
he's our family.
He is, yeah. Seriously, he is our family. We gotta represent here on Family Day. But thank you so much for the donations. She's saying congrats on getting to 28.7 thousand subscribers. Smash that subscribe button. Road to 30. Hashtag Road to 30K. Love you, Lindsay. Appreciate you. Thank you for the donation, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. That's been the goal for a minute. We are so close. We want to get there before opening day. And then Last Duel Gaming coming in here with another dono. Saying, sorry, guys, I got a big thumb. I get it. I got relatively big thumbs, too.
Yeah, it's hard to text.
But he was saying that he meant to say that there's a news conference coming tomorrow with good news. That's all we can say right now.
Okay.
So, listen.
Oh.
I hope you are on to something there, Last Duel. He says he knows somebody.
Who?
So there you have it. There you have it.
Can't
Yeah.
ask who. It's not appropriate.
Yeah, for real.
Not appropriate.
You want to reveal your source to the 574 people in here?
Yeah.
No, that's
Or
okay.
DM us.
But like again,
Yeah.
hopefully you are onto something there. I think that just common sense and logic says that this should get done. However, logic doesn't always prevail.
It doesn't prevail for Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. That's why we want them gone. When you think, oh, common sense and logic, they would have added more bats last year, and they didn't, and look what happened. But this year they have a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I hope you are right, Abba Edgar, and that something is coming. Do you know when it's coming? So we can kind of schedule our live stream around it?
Tomorrow sometime. I don't know.
Is that what he's saying? Oh, okay.
Tomorrow afternoon.
There will be a conference tomorrow. Yeah, because Vladdy's showing up tomorrow. So, if he does sign a deal, he 100% is having a conference.
That'd be so cool. Yeah.
Dude, we got to go live for that
Yeah,
shit.
of course,
We're going to be having a great time.
That's amazing, dude. And then I'm immediately leaving and flying to Portugal. I'm gonna be so happy.
You're leaving on a high note.
Yeah,
so
dude.
good.
It's like I'm leaving at the right time. I'm leaving the Blue Jays in a good place.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, do we have another question?
Let me take a check. That was all the way. Oh yeah, we did just get some more people coming in. Let me take a read here. This one coming in from Carter. I'll pull this up, asking how you feel about a 13-year, $430 million with an opt-out when he's 30.
I like it. I like it.
No, that's kind of what I'm saying, but less money.
Actually, I like that question just underneath him from Elliot right there. Thoughts on Vladdy projected stats from MLB? Did you see those?
Okay, no, yes,
so
they just
actually
came out today.
Yeah. So MLB posted their projected statistics for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Everybody, it should be it's right here. It's so hilarious. Funny. Yeah, hilarious photo of Vladdy. I like these numbers, man. I mean, if this look ultimately, if this is what he's done or what he ends up doing in 2025, then I will be very happy with whatever extension you give him.
100%.
Because this is what you're looking for. You're looking to have somebody be 7th in MLB and OPS. You're looking to have somebody be top 5 in RBIs, top 5 in runs. You're looking for a great on base. That's what you're looking for, a great overall player. And with all of these projected statistics, you would be a top 10 hitter in all of baseball, which is what you'd be getting paid to do.
I love the caption, our face when we see Vlad's project stats 2025. Literally, my thought was my face when Vladdy signs extension.
When I see his extension.
And that's exactly what the first comment is, CF Racing. Yeah, I mean, hell, that's perfect. You do that, you get that contract's worth it.
Yeah.
I think everybody would agree. And also, too, I mean, hell, you're not even paying for that yet. You'd be paying the $30 million that you are, or is it 29? What is he getting paid on it? 28.5?
It's still a decent amount, yeah.
Okay. I've just blacked that. I haven't even.
Doesn't even matter to me anymore.
I don't even care. I mean, if he was 28, 30, whatever, that's worth it. That's worth the money. So,
folks, that is where we're going to leave you for this Blue Jays Today show. But we're not going to be gone for today. We are going to be live later, probably in the afternoon. If more stuff comes out in the next hour or so, then I guess we'll just pop on and go live for that. But you can kind of look for us around 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening today. Hopefully having some guests following on along with us for a couple hours. Fingers crossed that we get some good news today.
Yeah, hopefully, guys. So make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to Blue Jays Today to stay up to date. And, guys, $3 a month to become a YouTube member. Shout out thank you to all of our YouTube members. You guys are absolutely awesome.
Thank you so much for watching. And as always,
go Jays, go!
Pay this man!